All right, welcome everyone to today's Tuesday training call. Last week we had such a great training about client support, how to be a great health coach. And so I thought this topic goes right along with that. I think one thing that clients really need is once they get to their goal weight, to feel that security of knowing how to transition and maintain. So as a health coach, that's something we really need to be able to help them with. So we just wanted to go over just kind of the basics of transition and maintenance today so that we can all help our clients when they get to that stage. Amber's put together this great slideshow, so we're just going to go through just kind of the basics on how to help somebody through transition. I think it's really important it's a huge thing in their life. And one thing I like to have my clients do is to read chapters 9 through 12 in Dr. A's Habits of Health book. It goes over everything about just healthy eating and maintenance. It's just great. So just when they are about 10 pounds away from their goal, just have them start reading those chapters, getting ready and mindset of transition, and make it really exciting and fun. Just be really excited for them, and if they're really scared, they're not going to want to do it. So just be really excited for them and just start getting them ready about 10 minutes or 10 pounds before their goal. All right, and then you also want to make sure that they have enough meal replacement on hand so that they are prepared. So just let them know that they need to probably have an order after they get to their goal, and so that they will have enough meals to get them through transition. All right. So once a client gets to their goal, they want to stay on 5 and 1 about 1 more week, and that's because they are going to probably retain a little bit of water before they, once they start transition to maintenance, and you don't want them to freak out, when they have a couple extra pounds that they gain from that. Also, just to kind of give them a warning, that second week in transition, sometimes they're going to feel a little bit more hungry just because they're not in fat burn anymore. And so just kind of give them a heads up that it's not going to stay like that, but usually that's that second week of transition that they might feel a little bit more hungry. And just kind of explain, we're going to get all the food groups back in, just get them excited about that. There's a great website, clienthealthtips.com, and on that, if you click under maintenance, there's a great video that Amber's done about maintenance, and just explains transition and maintenance, but also has this calculator, and they're able to calculate how many calories they're going to need in maintenance. And so this is just an easy way they can just plug in their numbers. Always factor in kind of lower on their activity level. So if they are moderate activity, have them calculate like that light activity level. Just so they're not overestimating that. And there's kind of an explanation of that equation if they need, but there's just a great calculator on that website, clienthealthtips.com. All right, so let's talk about week 1. Week 1 is exciting. You get to add in any vegetable, so any of those potatoes, carrots, peas that they haven't been eating during 5 and 1, they can add those back in. So they're going to still be doing 5 and 1, but they're going to add 1 cup of extra vegetables. And this all, goes over all of this in the quick start guide and in Dr. A's Habits of Health. But this is just kind of a breakdown. So 1 cup of any vegetable. I like to add that in about lunchtime. So here's an example. So maybe with their soup, they'd have like a cup of salad and half a cup of carrots. So they'll be able to kind of mix and match that throughout the day, but definitely with all of these food groups, I like them to practice having that with protein. So not just having carrots, but to have it with their Medifast soup that has protein in it also. So they kind of get in the habit of always having a protein and a carb together. All right, so that's the first week. Second week, we're raising those calories a little bit more, getting our body used to more carbs. We're going to add in 2 pieces of fruit, medium-sized fruit, or 1 cup of cubed fruit or berries. And so again, we want to combine that fruit with protein. So in this example, in place of 1 of the meal replacements that they take out, we're replacing that with 1 cup of cantaloupe and 10 almonds. That has the protein and the carbs to help them, you know, with that protein carb balance. And so I really like to tell them, you know, this is really good practice as we add each of these food groups back in. You're really learning what fruits you like with what proteins, what combinations you're going to replace those meal replacements with. And so they get the whole week to practice those carb protein balance snacks. So it's just kind of fun. They can try different fruits that they've missed or that they haven't eaten in a while and kind of see what proteins go well with those fruits for maintenance. All right, and this is usually the week that people will feel a little bit more hungry because they're not in fat burn. They may have stayed in fat burn during that extra vegetable week, depending on how many high carb veggies they were eating. But usually week 2 is when they're out of fat burn and they're feeling a little bit more hungry. You know, and so you can just kind of give them that warning, have them drink a lot of water, stay busy, you know, but really if somebody can really stay focused during transition, it makes all the difference for maintenance. I've really noticed my clients that do transition right are the ones that keep their weight off. And so transition is so important. Also, week 2 is an exciting week. It's the week that you can add beans in place of protein. So you can have 4 ounces of protein would count for 1 cup of beans. And so that's, you know, fun. They could make taco soup or, you know, have beans as part of their protein. So that's always a fun one. Week 3, we're adding the dairy. So that's 1 cup of low-fat dairy. Again, we're still having the extra cup of veggies, the 2 pieces of fruit, and the cup of dairy. And so, you know, you want to also combine that, you know, with your meals. And so, for example, just to keep it easy, just putting a cup of milk in with your shake. That's a great way just to combine, you know, that protein in your day. All right, week 4. This is the week that we add the grains in, and you know that's a lot of fun, and it can be scary because grains, you know, those have a lot of carbs, but just giving them good options for good choices like high fiber crackers, things like that. And so this is also the week that you add extra protein in. A lot of people don't realize that, so they need to have 4 to 6 ounces of protein in addition. So they still have their cup of veggies, their 2 fruits, their cup of low-fat dairy, their serving of whole grains, and extra protein. And so as you can see, this takes a lot more thought than just the 5 meal replacements and the lean and green. So this is, you know, this is where you can really help them with ideas of, you know, how to make that easy. And so I love these sample meal plans that we have that we can give them. And those are on the healthtips.com page also. So this time, you know, that's we have all the food groups back in. And so at this point, once they have all those food groups back in, so let's say that somebody's calorie need is 2,000 calories, but you're only at 1,500 this week. And so at this point, we would just increase those calories about 100 calories a week until they're up to their calorie need. So, all right. So that's kind of what we just talked about, 100 calories until they're at their point, and just have them listen to their body. You know, if they're hungrier, just give them ideas of what to add in so that they're adding those healthy calories in to help keep them full longer, like the protein, things like that. And it's also really great to just encourage our clients to use the meal replacement during maintenance, because they're really going to have a better time at keeping their weight off if they have like an easy option like our meal replacements during maintenance. All right. And then just maintenance is really everything that we learned in 5 and 1. That's really the key for maintenance, keeping it off. So things like eating breakfast, that's something that they're always going to want to do. Eating every 2 to 3 hours throughout the day, eating small meals, making sure they're balanced, drinking their water, and being active. You know, those are all things that are going to be important all through maintenance. So it's just important to just remind them all through 5 and 1 that these are things that they're going to do for the rest of their life, and just how important those are. And so that's what I really like to, every week when we're talking about the healthy habit of the week, just to talk about how that's going to incorporate into maintenance. So, and then there's just so many great options on that clienthealthtips.com as far as what to eat to make that easy. All right, and then we have lots of fueling examples. Just as a coach, if you can just give them ideas. Sometimes it's just hard to think of, what to eat for those snacks in between meals. So string cheese and fruit or vegetables, Greek yogurt, turkey, low-carb tortillas with turkey and spinach. Those are all great things that are going to help them. All right. Amber, are you on?
Yep.
Do you mind explaining this 9-inch plate just while I get my kids out of this room? So it's quite
That sounds good. Okay, so the 9-inch plate, I always love this example because honestly, this really resonates with people if you just explain this. So a 9-inch plate method, half of your plate is filled with fruits and vegetables, a quarter protein and a quarter starch or carbohydrate. So really lump those potatoes and corn and peas, those starchier vegetables, lump those together with carbohydrates, like choose one or the other. So if you're gonna have butternut squash, don't have the roll, like that would count for your starch. But just look at this, 5 ounces of chicken, asparagus, a spinach salad, and a half a cup of brown rice. That totals about a little over 400 calories. And I like to point this out that a lot of times, let's say you go to a restaurant or you fill your plate up with rice. How much rice is really on your plate typically? Like I would say at least 4 times that amount. So maybe 2 cups of rice is more common. And if you look at 2 cups of rice, right there is almost the exact number of calories as that whole dinner. So that's something that I really like to point out, that if you really go overboard on your carbs and your starches, that's going to increase your calories by double. Liz, you want to take it from here? We can go back.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I love this 9-inch plate method, like Amber was saying, because it makes it so easy. I do encourage my clients to track their calories for a week or so when they're in maintenance, just so they know about where they are. And there's an app called MyFitnessPal that's really great with that. There's lots of apps, but just trying to see where they need to be and see about where so they get an idea of what they should be eating. But from then on, I know I do not count every calorie. And that's just a lot of work. And so if you just use this 9-inch plate forever, if you go to a buffet, kind of scan the buffet first, walk down the line, see kind of what starch you're going to have, what protein, kind of get an idea so that when you don't get to the end of the buffet, your plate's just not overflowing. So I love this 9-inch plate because I know that as long as I fill half my plate with fruits and vegetables, I can have that starch, I can have that protein. Sometimes it's not going to be the healthiest choice of a starch. It might be, I might count, a piece of birthday cake at a party as my starch for that meal. And I just won't add it during that dinner meal. I'll know that's going to be my starch. I can have a small piece of that and just know that, that fits my 9-inch plate. Next meal, I'm going to make sure it's a healthy, healthier starch. But I just love this because it just really puts our life in balance. We're not stressing over every little thing. It really makes us to realize that we can have anything we want in the right balance. Definitely, most of the time, we want to make sure it's a healthy choice. But just to know that once in a while, if you want to have a cookie, if someone brings cookies to your house, and you're in maintenance, you're already at your goal, you can count that for your starch. Have a healthy protein. 3 hours later, on your next snack, just make sure it's a healthier carb. So that's just kind of how I do it. It just really makes it so I don't just eat the whole plate of cookies to get rid of them. It just really makes me mindful of things that I eat. So that really helps me in maintenance. So let's see. I think we're at the end of the slide. Oh, here we are. Okay. So in maintenance, we want to make sure we have 3 9-inch plate meals. So for breakfast, that might be a piece of whole grain toast, an egg, and some veggies or fruit. For lunch, just having some protein, carb, same thing, 9-inch plate. So 3 small meals and then 3 healthy snacks in between. That's something that we want to do forever. And so one thing that really helps me is when I wake up in the morning, I think, what 6 proteins am I going to eat today? Because really the proteins, that's the hard thing to think about. Carbs, fruit, vegetable, or grain, that's everywhere. And so if I just wake up and think, for breakfast, I'm going to have an egg, and then I'll have a Greek yogurt, and then I'll have some chicken on my salad, and then I'll have a string cheese, and then I'll have salmon, you know, so I just kind of think of the 6 proteins, and then I just choose a healthy carb to go with that. That just makes that maintenance so much easier. But definitely, I try to eat at least 2 meal replacements a day in maintenance, because if I start my day off with a healthy shake, for example, then I know that I've started off right, and I'm going to eat healthier throughout the day. And then I definitely love, you know, throwing those bars in my bag just to have when I'm out running errands. So I usually eat at least 2 during the day in maintenance. That really helps too. And then also, it's important to monitor your weight. Whether it be on the scale once a week, a pair of jeans that, you know, if you start seeing your jeans getting tight in maintenance, just really encourage your clients to monitor their weight, not to let that go. And I tell my clients, if they gain more than 3 pounds, I want to be talking to them. We got to get them on track. You know, 1 or 2 pounds, that can fluctuate pretty easy, but 3 pounds, you know, that's where it starts creeping up on you. So I like my clients in maintenance to continue to check in with me once a month, at least. Definitely, if they start gaining any weight back, we want to get them back on track, because that's one thing I love about our program. It's really designed to teach people to keep their weight off. We don't want the yo-yo cycle. We want to teach people to be healthy for life. So just make sure your clients know that they can always continue to check in with you, and that you really encourage that, keep that relationship with them. And then definitely during 5-in-1, we learn about glycemic charts. So in the book, in chapter 9, there's great charts that just give us an idea of, you know, what things to eat more often. So things in the darker green, we eat more often. Things down in the red, just on occasion. So, you know, there's a lot of healthy things down in that red section. And so that's not something that you need to feel bad about eating in maintenance, but just make sure that you're pairing it with a lower glycemic thing. So that kind of balances it out. For example, if you're going to a Mexican restaurant and you're going to have rice, you know, definitely try to choose brown rice. And then if you have black beans or chicken with it, which is low glycemic, that helps to balance out those high glycemic foods. And so, you know, if you do have a high glycemic food, try to have a low glycemic food with it, and it helps balance that out. Definitely the meal replacements make that easy because it's perfectly balanced. But, you know, these charts can really help you to know kind of what things to pair together. And protein for sure is lowest glycemic. That's really going to help balance out those high glycemic foods too. So, all right, and then Dr. A gives us a few tips on just how to keep our glycemic index low, using vinegar and lemon juice, eating sourdough bread, undercooking your pasta and oatmeal, or just, I swap it out for zucchini noodles altogether, because I like those just as much as pasta. So, you know, there's a lot of things that you learn during 5-in-1 that you'll continue to do forever, just because you find those things that you like. Stone ground rather than milled flour. It takes longer for your body to break it down, takes more work, keeps the glycemic index lower. Whereas like that instant oatmeal that comes in the package, you know, that basically just your body reads that as sugar. It just goes and stores, you know, right away, and you're hungry pretty quick after. And then we talked about how you can balance and combine those low glycemic foods to balance your blood sugar. And then one thing that I really like to do with clients, definitely keep that once a month call for maintenance, at least once a month, going to keep that relationship going. And then one thing that I want to start doing with my clients is when they get close to their goal and we're talking about transition, I'm going to start mailing them a maintenance guide. I'm going to order some maintenance guides. I'm going to mail it to them with a compensation plan, a little, you know, bit about paying it forward, maybe, you know, a little letter saying that this is the most important thing and probably the best thing that they can do to keep their weight off is if they help at least one other person. And so I think that would be just a really great way, if they're not already a health coach, to get them start thinking about health coaching even more. You know, when you have that consistent relationship with them, you know, since you're still checking in with them every week, that would be just a great time to really start talking about health coaching more, because once they get close to their goal, they realize they've accomplished that. They are starting to feel a little bit scared about maintenance. And so just keeping that option so they can at least help one person, start them helping just one person, that's really going to be the best health insurance for them. And so I think that would be a great thing to talk to anyone that's going into maintenance about the importance of paying it forward. So that was just kind of a quick, super quick overview of transition and maintenance. Hopefully you guys learned something from that. But definitely, just like our clients, I encourage everyone to read chapters 9 through 12 in Dr. A's book. I try to read that often because you're always giving, those tips and help with your clients. You're going to learn so much from that. You need to have a refresher on that every once in a while. Just keep that up and be practicing it yourself so that you can be giving your clients the tips that you're using. That they really appreciate that. So Amber, do we want to stop the recording before we open it up for questions?